Hi Libra, welcome to your weekly reading for January 8th to the 14th. I'm Jennifer and thanks for joining me today. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, and also I did upload monthly videos for each sign at the end of December, so if you haven't seen that, please go ahead and check that out. And I'm going to just jump right into the reading. So I'm using the Colette Baron Reed, The Good Tarot. And I also pull one card from the Medicine Woman Tarot deck just to kind of give further insight into the reading. And then at the end, we're going to choose one oracle card, okay? So at the bottom of the deck, we have love, which in the traditional tarot, this would be the Lover's card. This card is interesting to me because you see that the woman and the lion are asleep. They're totally asleep. And of course, this could represent like a love relationship. It also could be about making a decision. And I think for this reading, it probably has to do with both. And the love doesn't have to just be a relationship either. It could just be uniting aspects within yourself that bring you closer to what it is that you love. So, saying that, crowning your reading, we have the Eight of Cups. And this is a card of letting go. This is a card of reaching a place where you've come to a deeper understanding of perhaps what isn't making you happy. Perhaps there's been disappointment, some loss, or even just leaving something behind, because you see that this figure has their back to us and they're looking out over the ocean and there's a ship there in the background. This is leaving something behind, letting go and moving on and seeking something better. So I think that's a really actually good way to start this reading. Letting go and seeking something better. Knowing that there's more to life than these things that aren't really fulfilling you. And this card also speaks to seeking like deeper meaning and not being satisfied with superficiality. And basically looking for that authentic in yourself, being authentic, and seeking others who are authentic as well. In the present situation, we have the Four of Fire. And this is a card usually of celebrations. It's a card that sort of affirms perhaps friendships, family, a solid foundation. It's definitely a card that talks about friendship and family and your relations with others. And it usually means that there's something to celebrate. Now, crossing that card, we get the Hermit. So this is the obstacle or opportunity. So perhaps for some of you Libras out there, maybe there's too much spending time with friends. Maybe you're being asked to go within a bit more. Or for some of you, it could be that you are reevaluating your friendships and the people that you have around you, and you're wondering, like, are these people in my life for my highest good? Are they really people that I want to spend my time with? You know, are they bringing, what are they offering to you in your life? Are they just good time friends? And maybe, you know, if you're spending a lot of time with these people, maybe being asked to go within and figure out, like, what is this that is making you feel like you want to move on. You know, it's as though you want to move on. Maybe they aren't the right friends for you, or maybe they, you know, it really depends on your situation. But what I'm getting from this reading is that, you know, it may not be all your friends. It may not be your friends. Maybe there's certain family members. Maybe it's, it could be many things. It could be that things have changed in your relationships. Because here in the recent past, we do get the conflict and tension card, okay, which is right next to the Four of Fire. So perhaps there has been some tension, some conflict. Maybe it has to do with you seeking that, looking to be more authentic. Maybe it has to do with you, in a way, standing up for yourself. And people weren't so happy with that. And maybe, you know, you were the cause of this conflict because you needed to be. But either way, the Hermit is really asking you to take a time out from these people, from these situations. Maybe a little less celebration, a little more reflection, okay? Because in your hopes and dreams, we have the Two of Air, which is the Two of Swords. This is like a stalemate. This is about you having to consider your options and make a decision. And we get that again here with the Lovers card, which can also talk about making decisions. So perhaps there's something that you've been contemplating, thinking about. Probably has something to do with this conflict and this needing to let go of certain things. Now, in your foundation, we have the Five of Fire, which is also the Five of Wands. Now, in the traditional tarot, this is 5 people who are pretty much, they look like they're sort of fighting. And the way I would describe that card is a conflict of wills. But in this deck, we see just a single woman here, sitting here, and she looks kind of like, the expression on her face, the word isn't coming to me really, but this card, what it represents is sort of coming out of left field and being open. Instead of having like a conflict of wills, it's about being open to new ideas. And maybe, perhaps you were the one bringing out these new ideas. Because from the look on this woman's face, she sort of looks like she's the one with these counterintuitive, out of left field ideas. And she could be the one that is causing the conflict. Or it could be that you perhaps were open to new ideas from others. And maybe their ideas weren't the best. Maybe you weren't, you tried to be open to their ideas, but maybe you're thinking to yourself now that you need a timeout. But either way, this card really talks about just being open-minded and not only accepting new ideas and honoring differences, but also being the person to interject your own ideas, even if they seem really far-fetched, because this card also talks about, like, at one time, you know, perhaps something isn't accepted at one time, but then, you know, at some point in the future, perhaps people come around and see your point of view. Now, in the Outcome card, we actually have the Chariot, which is a really nice card to have in the Outcome, Libra. This card represents victory in this particular deck. And it also talks about movement, and sort of like the way that this woman is like driving this chariot. She doesn't really force these horses to go in any direction. And they are aspects of her. It's her light and dark side. And it's about the balancing of those aspects within yourself. Now, I don't like this card because they're asleep. And it's good to wake up. It's not good to stay asleep. Okay? Don't let love sleep. You know, make sure that love is awake within you. So, this is a card of victory. It's a card of saying, you know, whatever these conflicts were in the past, whether you choose to, you know, walk away from certain people, you have to decide what is right. You need to make that decision. You need to go within and figure out what is important to you. Who is worth hanging on to? Do you need to perhaps say something or not say anything? Or maybe just find a new way of relating to people? But with this card and the outcome, I see it, this walking away, as a positive thing, because there are things that we need to walk away from in life. And perhaps it's just the tension and the conflict in and of itself that you choose to walk away from, and you decide to just honor the differences and realize that, you know, you're not necessarily going to force people to see things your way. And you don't have to force them to see it your way. And I know that Libras, I'm a Libra, and we get tired of acquiescing to everyone else because we want to keep the peace. And we don't have to acquiesce to their way. But what we do need to do is realize that just as much as they want to force their ways on us, we shouldn't do the same to them, right? Because that's not acting with balance and fairness. So remember that in your foundation, you have this card here, which really talks about, you know, whatever it is that perhaps sometime in the future people will see things your way. Because, of course, you're a Libra, and you know the best balanced way, the fair way. And perhaps, you know, whatever this, maybe you're trying to get people to avoid tension and conflict, but they don't listen. So they have to learn the hard way. And perhaps you just have to walk away from trying to force your ways on others, even if you do know best or you don't know best. Either way, you can't force it on others. And I know I would say that because I'm a Libra. We don't always know best, but we are the peacekeepers, and we know the best way of doing things. It's just that people don't always listen to us, right? And then they wonder why when we lose our cool, we lose it big. So this is not a week to lose your cool, and I don't think you're going to have to, because you do have some kind of a victory. Now this could be for, you know, happening in this week. This could be energy just flowing from this week to, you know, to the end of January, perhaps even into February. I mean, anytime you see major arcana show up, these are major forces that are likely going to be with you. You know, these types of energies are with you longer than just a week. So, you know, perhaps just going within more, and before you react, go within and try to respond. Find a way to respond instead of just, you know, don't let that conflict of wills, don't get pulled into that drama. Because you also have here in the Medicine Woman Tarot, we have the Ten of Bowls, which is a really nice card to get. Along with the Lover's card and the Chariot, that's a really nice card. So this is the Ten of Cups. And in the Medicine Woman Tarot, it talks about your heart is home. So this could be that you are physically finding people who you feel you resonate with at a really deep level. Or perhaps finding home in your heart. Because we do have the Chariot, we do have the Hermit here. So, you know, first you have to feel it inside before you can manifest it on the outside, but I'm still going to read to you what this card says. My heart rejoices, Great Spirit, for I have found the people with whom I am in spiritual harmony, the place to which I am able to make commitment. I celebrate my good fortune. I give thanks for my family of people of like mind. We feel ourselves here to be one with earth and spirit. The gifts of these we share together. Bless our ways and grant that our tribe may continue. Your heart has found its home. Put your full energy into all you love here. Hold nothing back. Your heart has reached the heavens and brought them home to rest. Let yourself feel your commitment to a certain place, a certain community. Love can be expressed very particularly. You have a place to ground all of your high hopes and dreams. You're going to do it now. Longings no longer take you away to the elusive someone or something better. You have reached a time when you must give your full participation to what is before you. Fix it up, make it into your dream. Everything you need for full spiritual growth is here now. Take stock and dig in. And I think also, like, it could be that you should just appreciate the good people around you. You know, maybe we don't always get to have that vision in our minds of what we think our lives are supposed to look like. But all of us do have good, decent people around us that maybe we don't always appreciate as much as we should. And perhaps it's about looking within and finding that love inside and realizing that you are home in your heart. You're always at home in your heart. Walk away from the tension, the conflict. Stop the confliction of will. You know, don't force your will on others. I know that you don't like it done to you, and in order for you, never mind keeping the peace outside of yourself, because it isn't, Libras tend to put like we put the world outside of us. We want to like sort of put it in order. We want everything to be in like this justice, balanced way. We want to see beauty in relationships and beauty in the way people relate to each other. And we expect that when we are kind and giving, we expect it back in return. And we find that the world can be a very ugly place where people don't even appreciate the things that you do for them. And that ugliness is their problem. It doesn't make you ugly, and it doesn't make you unworthy of finding those people who will give back to you. Because you will. But just concentrate on yourself, depending on what situation you're in. You know, and you don't have to acquiesce to keep the peace for others, but maybe just so you can have more peace in your own life. And know who is worth keeping in your life and who is worth walking away from. And maybe you can't walk away from those people tomorrow. Maybe you're stuck in a bad situation. But you know that you can focus and plan and figure out something to work toward so that you can move away and get away to a happier home, to a place where you can be appreciated and loved and you feel that celebration with others. So let's pick one oracle card. And I'm going to pick one from the Wisdom of the Trees Oracle. Okay. Please give us one card for Libra, the collective general energy for Libra for the second week of January. Libra for the second week of January. Libra for the second week of January. Libra. That's the one that wants to come out. Linden. Oh, that's a pretty card. Let me just find that card and then I'll show you what it looks like. Ah, what I was just talking about. Peace. Linden, peace. Look at my heart-shaped leaves if you want to understand my affectionate message to you. Try to send out a sense of love and peace wherever you are in the world, regardless of your outer circumstances. Lindens are also known as lime trees. All parts of the tree are valuable, from the inner bark once used to make rope to the fragrant flowers, which are an important food for bumblebees. In ancient times, a linden marked the site of the local court of law. In Greek mythology, Philyra, the mother of the centaur Chiron, was transformed into a linden tree. In Norse and Germanic legend, the linden was the sacred tree of Frigga, the mother goddess, and Freya, the mistress of the earth. A tea made from the flowers calms the nerves and soothes digestive problems. You are finding life too hectic and demanding. Look for opportunities to be peaceful and quiet each day. Even if you can only snatch a minute or two here and there, go outside and appreciate the beauty you find around you. So that's interesting that this talks about love and peace. And even there's a rainbow in this card, which the Ten of Bowls in the traditional tarot usually has a rainbow. So that's a really nice way to end this reading. And also, maybe that appreciating doesn't always have to be like, perhaps not everyone is lucky enough to have people around them that they feel are kind or caring or thoughtful. But you can know that you are always cared for. Nature will always care for you. You'll always be provided for by nature. And it's time for us to care for nature and stop just treating her like she's just a resource to be consumed. So that's just my own little personal message. But for you, Libra, this week, of the 8th to the 14th, it's really important for you to go within and find your inner peace, and don't get into petty fights and arguments with people, because they're not worth it. They are not worth your inner peace. Okay? So, thank you so much for being here with me, Libra. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I hope that this reading has brought some insight, peace, healing, or hope into your life in some way, or your situation. And I will talk to you in the next reading. Thanks again. Bye-bye.